What is guided transmission media? Basically, guided transmission media, in simple terms, is just when waves are guided along a physical path. It's also known as bounded media. Some examples of things that use guided transmission media are phone lines, twisted pair cables, coax cables, power lines, and fiber optics. Here's just an image that just gives examples of things that I just said. My question to you guys is, why do you think guided transmission media is important, and how do you use it or see it in your everyday life? Magnetic media, what is it? Well, one of the most common ways to transport data from a computer to another is usually by using a magnetic tape or removable media. Some examples of this are tape drives, floppy disks, and hard drives. On the bottom left here, this is a floppy disk, and on the top right here, this is a hard drive. So basically, everyone's probably seen a floppy disk. They're very common. They're pretty old. Um, and I doubt everyone's seen a hard drive because hard drives are usually always inside a computer. You can take them out and put them in another computer, or if you buy one, you could put it inside a computer that you're building. So those are times that you might see them. That's why I don't really think a lot of people have seen them because not everyone builds computers or transfers a hard drive to another computer. Twisted pair cables, what are they? These are also used for transmission media, as I said before on my first slide. They're made up of a pair of insulated copper wires which are twisted with each other. As you can see here, these are the copper wires that are twisted with each other. They have a frequency range of 0 to 3.5 kilohertz. They're usually used to transmit analog or digital signals. These are one of the oldest, but probably still one of the most common ways of using transmission media. Coax cables. Coax cables are made up of an interconductor surrounded by an insulating layer. As you can see here, here's the interconductor, the copper wire. Here's the insulated layer, and here as well, and another insulated layer here. So Coax cables are very common. Everyone's probably seen them. If you have a TV, you've probably seen them. Um, they're used for TV wires, and they have a higher frequency range and more bandwidth than twisted pair cables. There's two types of coax cables, which are band and broadband coax cables. Base Baseband has a lower data transmission rate, and broadband has a higher data transmission rate. So another very common uh, way transmission media is also used are power lines. Everyone sees power lines; they're everywhere. They've been used by electrical companies for years for low rate communication. An example of this is remote metering. Um, there's two types as well, like the coax cable. Well, there's a broadband, and this is different. There's a narrow band. The narrow band also, like the base band for the coax cable, has a lower data transmission rate, and the broadband has a higher data transmission rate, like the coax cable. Lastly, we have fiber optics. These are made up of like strands of fiber or strands of glass or plastic that are made into fiber. Um, as you can see here, these are strands of glass in this image specifically. They're mostly used in lighting for lights, but they can also be used for internet. Like if you have fiber internet, then that uses fiber optics. Uh, they use electrical signals to communicate, and they send data using pulses of light. Fiber optics actually transmit data faster than copper wires and have a higher frequency. Um, this is why they are actually faster than twisted pairs because twisted copper wires. And yeah,